When one chooses to walk the way of the Mandalore, you are both hunter and prey. This is the way.
This is the way.
Welcome to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy. Now we're all excited about this new season of The Mandalorian, especially since this season looks like it's going to dive deeper into Mandalore's history and culture. Mandalore has been featured in loads of animated shows and books and comics, but in case you don't have the time to absorb all of that material, I'm here to give you a brief rundown of the history of Mandalore and how it will affect Season 2.
Your ancestors rode the great Mythosaur.
Centuries ago, the first humans arrived on Mandalore and encountered giant dinosaurs like this one called a Mythosaur. They not only fought them, but they tamed them and rode them around the planet. This is our assistant manager, Doug. Tell Doug what you think of his costume in the comments. Thanks. See, Mandalore was home to a rare metal called Beskar, which they began to forge into powerful armor. This metal is so strong it can repel blaster fire and lightsaber attacks. So the Mandalorians developed a strained history with the Jedi.
Songs of eons past tell of battles between Mandalore the Great and an order of sorcerers called Jedi.
Then, thousands of years ago, long before a farm boy from Tatooine gazed longingly into a sunset, a Mandalorian was actually accepted into the Jedi Order. His name was Tar Vizsla, and he created a special lightsaber called the Darksaber. Vizsla eventually left the Order and conquered Mandalore, and this was the first time that all of the various Mandalorians, warlords, and houses and clans were actually united. After Tar Vizsla died, his saber was kept in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. But when the Old Republic fell 1,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, Mandalorians sacked the Jedi Temple and reclaimed the saber. Without Tar Vizsla to unite them, Mandalorians fought one another for centuries. Now, during one of these wars, Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi were on a mission to protect a young royal member named Duchess Satine. Then she and Obi-Wan fell in love with each other, but sensibly never acted on their emotions.
Had you said the word, I would have left the Jedi Order.
Eventually, the constant warring destroyed the planet's surface and created a vast, unlivable desert. All of the warmongering, armor-wearing Mandalorians were exiled to the moon Concordia and slowly died out over the centuries. Or did they? When the Clone Wars began, Duchess Satine, who rules all of Mandalore, made sure the planet stayed neutral, and Mandalore became leader of several hundred other neutral systems. Then there was a terrorist bombing at an area called Peace Park. Obi-Wan Kenobi arrived to investigate while he and Duchess Satine made sensible googly eyes at one another. Eventually, they traced the bombing to Concordia, Mandalore's moon, and the moon's governor, Pre Vizsla, a descendant of Tar Vizsla. And he's all like, nothing to see here. I'm just a rich guy on a moon where you guys sent all the warriors centuries ago, but shh, done with that. But then it turns out that he's actually the leader of the evil, warmongering Mandalorians called Death Watch.
What?
He has the Darksaber and believes that he should lead Mandalore and they should all go back to their warmongering, violent ways.
Prepare yourself to join them.
He's even made a deal with Count Dooku that if he helps him conquer the planet, then he'll make sure that Mandalore enters the war on the side of the Separatists. Obi-Wan defeats him, and Death Watch goes on the run. Then Count Dooku hangs him out to dry, they have no base, and they want revenge against basically everyone. Pre Vizsla's #1 follower is Bo-Katan Kryze, the sister of Duchess Satine. More on her in a bit. Since Mandalore isn't allied with either side in the Clone War, they have a hard time getting certain supplies, such as tea for the schoolchildren. So the black market flourishes on the planet, and the schoolchildren receive their tea, which was actually poison.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Some plucky teens conduct an investigation, and they find out that the Prime Minister of the planet, Almec, was behind the black market and was also skimming off the top.
What?
Now let's take a brief aside for a Star Wars politics explanation. Duchess Satine determines the overall direction of the planet, especially in relation to the galactic sphere, while the Prime Minister answers to her and takes care of the day-to-day operations on the planet itself. Like, making sure the kids don't get poisoned tea.
Isn't it toxic?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Back to Death Watch. They're a little aimless. They're looking for a headquarters, trying to get revenge against Dooku, and striking at the Separatists wherever they can. This is when they save a young Din Djarin from Separatist battle droids during the Clone Wars. But then, Pre Vizsla meets Darth frickin' Maul. Yes, Darth Maul survived his duel with Obi-Wan and was rescued by his Sith apprentice brother, who was named Savage Opress. Savage Opress. So then Darth Maul's all like, I've been halved! And then their mom gives Maul a pair of Magic legs. Now, Maul and his brother Savage Opress want revenge on Darth Sidious. They want revenge on Dooku, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and all the Jedi, pretty much everything drawing breath. So then they meet up with Pre Vizsla and propose an alliance. And Bo-Katan is all like, I don't know, man, maybe this evil Sith Lord is actually an evil Sith Lord. I don't think we can trust him.
Doubt will only lead to failure.
Pre Vizsla agrees to an alliance with Maul if he helps him conquer Mandalore. So the two of them go around the galaxy absorbing different crime syndicates into their Shadow Collective. It's a new criminal organization that Maul is going to be the kingpin of. So the Shadow Collective attacks Mandalore, and remember, they're all peace, love, dope, no weapons, total pacifists. You know, dude, I once dabbled in pacifism. Not in the Clone Wars, of course. Anyways, Shadow Collective attacks, and the Mandalorians are helpless, so Death Watch flies in to save the day. And the people are all like, pacifism sucks, we want you to rule us.
We need action, not pacifism.
So Pre Vizsla locks up Maul and Almec and Duchess Satine. He tries to turn on Maul, but then Maul challenges him to a duel for leadership of Death Watch and all of Mandalore. Pre Vizsla gets a Ned Stark surprise, and now Darth Maul rules all of Mandalore, and he owns the Darksaber by rights. He installs Almec as a figurehead and uses Satine to lure Obi-Wan to the planet.
Hello there.
And Bo-Katan is not having any of this, so she leads her group called the Night Owls in another Mandalorian civil war against Darth Maul. Obi-Wan does show up on Mandalore, and Maul gets his revenge, killing her in front of him. So she ends up like another Satine who loved a character played by Ewan McGregor. Then, Darth Sidious hears that his former apprentice is doing well, so he arrives on Mandalore, kills Savage Opress, and captures Darth Maul. Then, Maul escapes from prison with the help of his loyal Mandalorian followers, like Gar Saxon. Some stuff happens, it's not important, his Shadow Collective falls apart, and he helps his loyal followers to retake Mandalore. But Maul has a reason for doing this. He wants to lure Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker to the planet, because he senses how important Anakin is to the Emperor's plans.
He has long been groomed for his role as my master's new apprentice.
But instead, Anakin's former Padawan, Ashoka Tano, has met up with the exiled Bo-Katan and her captain, Ursa Wren. They convince Ahsoka to help them liberate Mandalore from Darth Maul. So Ahsoka and a few Republic forces and Bo-Katan's Night Owls engage Maul's troops. This is called the Siege of Mandalore. It's a long battle that ends with Maul's forces being captured or killed, and Ahsoka taking down Darth Maul, and the Republic occupying Mandalore. Then Bo-Katan is made regent of Mandalore, which is now part of the Republic. But like 2 hours later, the Republic becomes the Empire, and Bo-Katan is now a puppet figurehead ruled by a totalitarian state.
The first galactic empire!
Now, Bo-Katan doesn't toe the Imperial line, and she's replaced with Maul's former follower, Gar Saxon. Because Mandalore is known for producing great warriors, the Empire builds an Imperial Academy on the planet. One young cadet was Sabine Wren, the daughter of Ursa Wren. She's a gifted engineer who builds a machine that can destroy Beskar armor and anyone wearing it. Now, she realizes that this machine would decimate her people, so instead of finishing it, she joins the rebellion and destroys the plans to the machine. Now, her family was shocked that she would betray the Empire, and they cast her out of their clan.
I didn't know the Empire would use the weapon I designed against our people.
Alright, so in the meantime, Darth Maul formed another criminal empire which was destroyed, and he kind of fell on hard times.
But I'm too old. I need help to open the door.
So Sabine Wren finds the Darksaber on his home planet, Dathomir. Then she returns to Mandalore and defeats Gar Saxon in a duel, and then decides to spare his life. But then Gar does that sneaky villain thing where he tries to kill her after she spares him, and Sabine's mom, Ursa Wren, kills him instead.
No one threatens our family.
This has huge implications for Mandalorian politics because it means that House Wren has betrayed Clan Saxon, and the Mandalorians are having a civil war. Again. Must be Tuesday, right?
Mandalorian? I don't want to be a Mandalorian.
Now, Clan Saxon is being led by Gar's brother, Tiber Saxon, and he is all about doing whatever the Empire tells him to do.
No, dude, you're a little bitch.
But there are other important Mandalorians out there, like Jango Fett. Y'all remember him? He was from this planet called Concord Dawn, which is in the Mandalorian sphere of influence. Obviously, the clone army was created from his DNA, and so was Boba Fett. But years later, another important Mandalorian lived on Concord Dawn, Finn Rau. Rao was one of the Mandalorian protectors. That's the people who guarded Duchess Satine. After Mandalore was conquered by the Empire, Rao and the Collectors settled on Concord Dawn and agreed to police hyperspace routes for the Empire. The Empire betrayed him, and Gar Saxon killed all of the Mandalorian protectors except for Fenn Rau. Afterwards, Fenn Rau's obviously pissed, so he joins the rebellion and swears to free Mandalore from the Empire. So, Sabine and her rebel friends go to Mandalore to help Ursa Wren and Bo-Katan overthrow Tiber Saxon and kick the Empire off the planet. Okay, that's a lot of names. But the Empire has finished Sabine's weapon. You know, the one that can fry Beskar armor and decimate her entire race. So then Sabine programs the machine to destroy Stormtrooper armor instead, Tiber Saxon is killed, and the Imperial forces are decimated. Sabine gives the Darksaber to Bo-Katan so she can... This seems like a happy ending, but the Empire struck back like they always do. At some point after this, they initiated the Great Purge, an event that nearly destroyed the planet and scattered Mandalorians across the galaxy. All we know at this point is that the Empire plundered nearly all the Beskar steel from the planet.
These are the spoils of the Great Purge. The reason that we live hidden like sand rats.
Moff Gideon, an officer in the Imperial Secret Police, became ruler of Mandalore and stole the Darksaber for himself. Afterwards, a new Mandalorian culture emerges. They begin to recruit children, who they call foundlings, and incorporate them into Mandalorian culture. They are no longer allowed to remove their helmets, and they live by a strict creed of honor.
This is the way.
This is the way.
One of them, a bounty hunter named Din Djarin, comes across a Force-sensitive being simply known as the Child. Rather than hand him over to the Imperial remnants for experiments, he decides to help the Child find his family or other Force-sensitive users. On the planet Navarro, they're led by a Mandalorian simply called the Armorer. The other Mandalorians on Navarro have his back and end up fighting the Imperial forces. However, the Empire strikes back, like they always do. They defeat the Mandalorians, killing many of them and leaving only the Armorer to pick up the pieces. However, she allows Din Djarin to escape with the Child, heading off to parts unknown.
This is the way.
So here's a rundown of all the characters I mentioned who you're probably going to see in Mandalorian Season 2. Ahsoka Tano, Anakin's former apprentice, leader of the rebellion, now just kind of a free agent doing what she wants. Bo-Katan, veteran of the Clone Wars, former leader of Mandalore, now also on the run. Fenn Rau, former Mandalorian protector and Rebel Alliance member. And the most important Mandalorian, your mom.
No loose wire jokes. Did I say anything? He's trying. I didn't say anything.
Do you have any questions about Mandalore, their history? Let me know in the comments below. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.